Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. From the beginning, I have said there has got to be a reason why Jalen Ramsey has been on 4 teams in his career. All we hear is how talented Jalen Ramsey is, and he's the second coming of Rod Woodson. The stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But this is all we have heard about this trade. How great and versatile Jalen Ramsey is. And I automatically say to myself, well, if he's so great, why does he keep getting traded? And then this article comes out today. Series of internal headaches. Miami sports columnist says Jalen Ramsey was constantly late to practice. When the hell is Coach Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers going to learn? We just dealt with this with George Pickens for 3 years. And then we get rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick is the culture in Pittsburgh. You knew exactly what you were going to get with Minkah Fitzpatrick. In the locker room, on the field, we knew one thing. He'd never be late to practice. He wouldn't be late to a game. He's not going to be a diva. We know that. Let me get into the article before I get into all of that. I'm fuming over the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. South Florida Sun Sentinel columnist Dave Hyde believes the Dolphins won't miss the headaches that Ramsey caused in Miami. Shocker. Oh, let me guess. Coach Tomlin's going to fix another problem child, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers never learn. They won't miss him regularly showing up for practices as the rest of the team was in the middle of stretching. They won't miss how he constantly undermined defensive coordinator Vic Fangio 2 years ago and coach Mike McDaniel last season in a manner that spread like a bad odor through the larger team. Hyde wrote, he became a symbol of the Dolphins, just collecting talent rather than building a team. Ramsey and Tyreek Hill were constantly late for practice or meetings in a manner that set the culture of the last year's Dolphins. He also added that Miami was forewarned about attitude issues with Ramsey from his prior teams. Go figure. What a surprise. What a shock. I knew this was coming. GM Chris Greer still sent a third-round pick to the Los Angeles Rams in 2023 and paid $52 million for Ramsey's 27 starts, 5 interceptions, 1 Pro Bowl season, and a series of internal headaches right up to Monday's trade. God, I'm so sick of this shit. Aren't you sick of it? Aren't you tired of it? We couldn't have just rolled into the season with Minkah Fitzpatrick. See, and this is another excuse that I keep hearing. A lot of so-called insiders, Steeler experts keep claiming that the Pittsburgh Steelers kept giving up short passes by the line of scrimmage from 3 to 5 yards. And why was that? Because quarterbacks wouldn't throw the ball on the back end at Minkah Fitzpatrick. So, would you rather give up long passes or short passes? So now that the Steelers have Juan Thornhill at free safety, do you really think that quarterbacks in the league are scared to throw the ball deep at Juan Thornhill? And when the Pittsburgh Steelers start giving up huge plays on the back end, I don't want to hear anybody complain. This Minkah Fitzpatrick trade is going to be an absolute disaster for the Pittsburgh Steelers on the field and in the locker room. I am so tired of this garbage with Coach Tomlin thinking he could fix everybody. Oh, I'm the cool coach. I'm the players coach. Everybody likes me. Oh, I'll just pat him on the back and invite him in and have a conversation. Didn't we just learn this with George Pickens? Didn't we learn this with Antonio Brown, Chase Claypool? Do the Pittsburgh Steelers ever learn? And I already knew this. I knew this before I even read the article. You see Jalen Ramsey in interviews. He's Cam Newton 2.0. Oh, it's just sickening. You know why I'm so sick about it? Is because we had a legendary player in Minkah Fitzpatrick who sets the tone in the culture in the locker room, on the practice field, on game day with his play and his behavior on and off the field. And we get rid of him for a guy like Jalen Ramsey. God, it pisses me off. Jalen Ramsey's going to come to Pittsburgh, right? Of course, when he gets there, he's going to have a good attitude. He's going to say all the right things. Coach Tomlin, he's going to love Coach Tomlin. And see, these types of guys, this is what they always say in the beginning. And then they just get in their moods. And no matter how they get treated, no matter how much money they get paid, it's never good enough. And the real Jalen Ramsey, his head will come to the surface. Wait till the Steelers, if they might lose a game or he gets burnt in coverage and he gets pissed off at the defensive coordinator or he gets pissed off at Coach Tomlin. It's going to be a disaster and a train wreck waiting to happen. And I predict it now. I predicted it the first day that Minkah Fitzpatrick got traded. I said, if he's so wonderful, why is this his fourth team? Oh, it makes me sick. It really just makes me sick. Steelers never learn. Coach Tomlin never learns. Omar Khan never learns. Terry Bradshaw over the weekend, he talks about Kenny Pickett once again. Terry Bradshaw, I don't understand why you can't just accept the fact that Coach Tomlin asked Kenny Pickett to compete for his job, and Kenny Pickett had a complete meltdown like a little spoiled child and demanded to be traded. Kenny Pickett is mentally and physically fragile and weak. He was missing multiple games for bone bruises, not tears, not broken bones, bone bruises. That Kenny Pickett. And then Coach Tomlin said, hey, we're going to bring in some competition. And Kenny Pickett showed his true colors. And the next thing you know, he's a Philadelphia Eagle. So let's hear Terry Bradshaw, his take on it.
I liked Kenny Pickett. I liked him at Pitt. I know him. I know what he's like. And when they got him to Pittsburgh, here's what they didn't do. They didn't protect him. They didn't.
Was he a first rounder?
He was.
Okay.
Picked like 28th.
Yeah.
They didn't get him on offensive line. They wanted to run the football, but they didn't have an offensive line that could protect, and they didn't have weapons. He had no wide receivers to speak of.
Right.
And then you throw a kid in there for 2 years, and you got an offense that doesn't fit and doesn't work, and they can't run because their offensive line is not even good enough for a run-blocking team. And therefore, they say Pickett was a failure. He wasn't a failure. The Steelers were a failure. Now Pickett goes to Philadelphia as a backup. He gets a Super Bowl ring. He's traded to Cleveland, who now has 4 quarterbacks.
Right.
And Pittsburgh really has 1, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can find these kids – and you can get them out of college, and if they're good in college, there is no reason that they should fail in the NFL. If you look at what they did in college and why they were successful, all those kids from Alabama, that's great players. Great offensive line, receivers, running back. Of course, those quarterbacks, if they're successful, now they take that into the NFL. They would do the same things in the NFL if they had the proper talent around them. Right. And there's very few teams in the NFL that provide the offensive line and the wide receivers and the talent around a quarterback. And when you do that, you're going to be successful.
I mean, Terry, you do realize that when Kenny Pickett gets drafted in the first round of the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Coach Tomlin are expecting him to elevate everybody else around him. They're expecting that. So, and then you say that you make it sound like Kenny Pickett had better talent in college than he does in the NFL. It's the best team that Kenny Pickett ever played on. In 2 years of football, he had like 15 touchdowns. He was averaging 7 touchdowns a year and missed multiple games for bone bruises. And then the final nail in the coffin where Coach Tomlin and the organization said, enough, goodbye. He doesn't want to compete for his job. I mean, Terry, he didn't have the mental or physical toughness, the makeup, not only to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, to be an NFL player. Kenny Pickett is going to be a career backup the rest of his career, and we all know that. So, listen, I'm done. Terry's obviously in love with Kenny. Kenny listens to country music like Terry. I don't know what the scenario is here. There's a lot of things that Terry Bradshaw is in denial when it comes to Kenny Pickett. I'm so happy that Kenny Pickett doesn't wear the black and gold anymore. The Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely made the right call, not wasting any more time on Kenny Pickett, and said goodbye. With that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.